Sorry the stream went down, guys. Herbert is 40 and Carr is 40. Kansas City improve 4-0. Darnold is Camacho 40. Minnesota be 4-0. England's Camacho 30. Minnesota improved to 3-0 versus NFC. Uh, let's move on. Also, this brings us to our next point with the Jets against the Broncos. The Jets are going to be 3-0 versus the AFC. They face off against the Vikings next week, and I'm going with the Jets to win next week's game as of today. Sorry, the stream shut down, but I'm back on, which is great. Um, One of the games that I feel so strongly about this week is the Steelers game. Using the record against the conference, Cowboys is Camacho 30, and they face off against the Cowboys next week, and the Colts is Camacho 30. So Pittsburgh improved to 3-0 against the AFC, and Pittsburgh is Camacho 50, and they are going to try to go for 5-0 on Sunday Night Football. So again, the Steelers 3-0 against the AFC by beating the Colts, and they play the Cowboys for next week. So any concerns with Pittsburgh's offense? Very inaccurate. I don't know that he's going to handle the pressure of the Steelers front seven very well. So Pittsburgh are going to win the game. The Colts, they let the Bears hang around. The bottom line, the Steelers are going to win the game. Now this Dolphins game, I'm looking at the Dolphins. Miami improved to 2-2. Terry Morris, number 22, passed away. Part of that undefeated Dolphins team. Levis is Camacho 22. So again, it is the Titans. The Dolphins offense hasn't looked good without Tua, but they have enough playmakers to make something happen. The bottom line is I do like the Dolphins to get a victory. The Las Vegas Raiders can improve to 2-2 next week, and they're going up against the Broncos the following week. Broncos is Camacho 32, so they're going for 3-2. I do like the Raiders to defeat the Browns. The Raiders are going to try to go for 3-2 by beating the Broncos. So I do like the Raiders to get a bounce back victory to improve the 2-1 against the conference. Cincinnati Bengals are going to be 1-3. LA Super Bowl 56 is Camacho 13. Joe Burrow Super Bowl loss. Cincinnati be 1-3 since Burrow's return. So again, something is a little bit off if the Bengals lose the game. I don't see the Bengals losing the game. This is the week that they will win. Can Burrow and the Bengals come back? Can Burrow and the Bengals come back? It's going to set up a very interesting game against Baltimore next week. Jared Goff, in his record on Monday, Goff improves to 6-2 on Mondays. I like the 6-2 because he did lose the Super Bowl at Georgia in Super Bowl 53. Georgia's Camacho 62. He's going to look to make it back over there. Goff is going to try to make it back to the Super Bowl. So I do like that 6-2 record. And Goff improved to 7-6 versus Seattle. The Detroit Lions is Gematria of 76. I do like a victory for the Detroit Lions over the Seattle Seahawks. What's Geno Smith's record on Monday? Geno Smith's 37th loss against Detroit, and Detroit's Camacho 37. So yeah, Seahawks are a pretender. They're a joke. Geno's gonna lose. What is Geno's record on Monday Night Football? You see, this is what's rigged about the Seahawks. They need to go to overtime against the freaking Patriots. Monday Night Football has come out to 33, and Geno has 33 regular season wins in his career. The 3-0 scripted start for the Seattle Seahawks coincides with Monday Night Football. Yeah, he'll fall to 3-6. And I move on. I know the Seahawks are a joke. They're a pretender. Bottom line, if the Vikings win, then another unbeaten team is going to lose. But it's not going to be Kansas City, and it's not going to be Pittsburgh. So the Seahawks will lose. We'll see about Buffalo. Dallas Cowboys game, we got right. Matt LaFleur's record. Matt is 54. Love is 54. His quarterback, his guy, Jordan Love, he picked both of their names at 54 in Gematria. What I do like about Matt LaFleur, again, when we go back to the Vikings-Packers game, is 33rd loss overall for LaFleur. And Sam is Gematria 33. You can look at it as regular season. You can look at it as overall, but 33rd loss overall against Sam Darnold. And Atlanta Falcons are going to be 2-2. It was 22-17. They lost. The Chiefs scored 22 points. The Falcons beat the Eagles, scoring 22 points. So we looked at Carr equal 40 in Gematria. Carr is Gematria 22. They'll be 2-2. Kirk is Gematria 22. The Falcons are all upset and butthurt about the referee and the call on 4th down. So officials will favor the Falcons. They'll call holding on one team. They'll let the other team get away with the holding. This is how they can manipulate the games. They did call holding against the Cowboys to manipulate the point spread. So getting out of these second short yardage situations, they made the Cowboys have to go 3rd and long. So this is how the refs manipulated the point spread by choosing to call all the holding that they could subjectively easily allow Dallas to get away with on any given night if they choose to. They pick and choose when to call these fouls because there's technically holding on every play in the NFL. So yeah, I feel great about that Falcons game. You never know, but again, I think if the Saints are 2-2, I think they can go for 3-2, beating the Chiefs. I don't see the upset of Kansas City this week. I can see Derek Carr in New Orleans upsetting the Chiefs. I can see that happening. Otherwise, this team is going nowhere if they're not going to get the win at Arrowhead. So yeah, I don't know if I'm biased towards the 2-2 or if the logic makes complete sense, but here we are. I mean, with the LA Chargers and the Chicago Bears, one team is going 1-3, and LA is 13. You know that the Rams have the better coaching staff. You know that. I mean, the Rams had a narrow loss at Detroit. If they can take Detroit to overtime, if they can beat the 49ers, then they can absolutely beat the Bears. The Bears and the Panthers will determine which teams can join the Giants in the dumpster fire in the NFC. So I got to go Rams next week over the Bears. Bears and Panthers will be a game where the teams are in the dumpster. But yeah, the Rams are the underdog because of all the injuries. But these guys know how to coach in LA. It's next man up. They know how to prepare these players on any given week. So I don't think injuries are going to be that big of a concern, I think, for the LA Rams, especially when you're up a team against Chicago. Watching that game between the Texans and the Bears, it just felt that the game was just rigged and manipulated for the point spread. You get the feeling that if they really wanted to, the Texans could have blown them out. But the Texans won, and they only won by 6 points, and the game was rigged against the point spread. It was a rigged Monday night. It was a rigged Sunday night game. And Caleb Williams played at USC, so LA 13, so he could fall to 1-3. Something very special would need to happen for the Bears to win that game. Now, if the Rams beat the Bears, then the Cardinals are a lock to defeat the Washington team. Take a look at this NFC table. Third place Saints can fall to 2-2. The team will replace the Saints, the winner of the Bucks and the Eagles game. Lions will join them 3-1. I go Packers 2-2, but they could easily win a game against the Lions. They could easily win the next game in the division against the Vikings. The Falcons, Cardinals 2-2, Rams 2-2, 49ers 2-2. Basically, the Panthers, the Bears, and the Giants are in the dumpster fire with one win. That's how I see the NFC table after week 4. I just like the comeback angle. I like the big contract and Trevor Lawrence. So I got to go Jacksonville this week. Suddenly the Jaguars are in the mix. There's so much to do in Florida. It'll keep these fans interested. Tennessee, no one cares about Tennessee. There's no Derrick Henry no more. Yeah, Denver Donkeys fall to 1-3. New York Jets is Comanche 13. Broncos. Denver falls to 1-3. That should be automatic conclusion. Rodgers leaves the Packers. He won the Packers' 13th championship overall. So there's no upset with that Jets game. Is Aaron Rodgers the GOAT? Is Aaron Rodgers a Super Bowl contender? So New York Jets are going to be 3-1. Going for 4-1. Rodgers, Camacho 41. The New York Jets should win the football game. I easily go with the Cardinals to beat the Washington team. The Faders and the Browns, poverty team nowadays, so can never get your hopes too high with the Raiders, but hopefully they do win. But again, anything can happen in that game. Uh, Eagles 2-2. Eagles chasing the NFC. Eagles that NFC record 3-1. Now that's something could be interesting if the Eagles win. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Yeah, the biggest toss up game is Bucks and Eagles. Just there's revenge narratives. There is he is him. He is him. Uh, Baker Mayfield that he's not some 1 year wonder. So I definitely do see the narratives there. And once I uh, go through all the rest of the games, I will jump into that game. How's Alabama doing? Oh, that game is over. Don't tell me that game is going to be rigged. I'm not one of them sheeple. I will. The channel's not going back to that game. You're not going to rig the game to get the people jumping right back onto the TV set. I know what y'all games are. It's 23-7. Now it's 2 possessions. Now Georgia can get the ball back. You're not fooling me, y'all. I ain't turning back to that game. Oh, Sean McVay's Comanche 31. The Packers, are they going to be 3-1? I mean, if they 3-0, they got to top this early season start with the win over the division. I'm going with the Vikings. They have to top that off, top this unbeaten start with the win against either Detroit or Green Bay. I will go with the Vikings to beat the Packers, and 2 weeks later they face off against the Lions. You know, if the Vikings, if they beat the Packers, and Detroit, if they win this week and next week, then both teams would be tied on top of the division. Even if the Vikings beat the Packers and the Vikings lose against the Jets or and the Lions, and they are a pretender. So, um, are they a contender? It all depends on how they do against the Jets and the Lions. So, um, I'm not here to call them a contender or pretender just yet. They got to show me what they can do against the Jets and against the Lions for me to reach a judgment on Minnesota. But yeah, Nick Sirianni's a clown, right? If anyone can lose the game, it is that he acts like some high school kid over there. Nick Sirianni, this dude, I swear. Man, can you believe it? The A's have left Oakland. Can you believe it? Las Vegas 23, Texas 2, Oakland 3, the last game. The game was rigged from the start. It was a completely rigged baseball game. How can you rig baseball? How can you rig baseball? Come on, tipping them pitches right down the middle, these laser shot home runs in the postseason. Come on, scripted home runs happen all the time. Happy Stafford. This might be a year that Eberfluss is fired. Matthew Stafford has 99 regular season wins in his career. It could be the 100th regular season win of Matthew Stafford's career. I think Matthew Stafford will have a big game. Regular season win number 100 for Matthew Stafford. Looks like Seattle's trying to hit home runs. Let's get into the Arizona coach. Dan Quinn. Let me type in Commanders. The thing about Arizona and Washington is Washington has a bad record at State Farm Stadium. Stat of the game: